Hi guys, it's Kyle from Regrettable Props. We're going to be making the Orkai helmet. I know you guys have been waiting for it. Once again, templates are going to be linked in the description. PDF, 8.5 by 11 is the paper size, and I'm going to be using 5mm craft foam. You're going to find all the materials once again linked in the description, or at least a list of them. And for the slats, those are the pieces that wrap around. I'm going to be providing one half, and all you have to do is flip it and then just have it meet at the middle, and you only have to worry about one seam. Once you have it all cut out, you're going to have these 4 triangle pieces. Those are going to be for the top center cap, and then here's the slats you see, and these are going to be the pieces that wrap around the helmet. And then if you guys are using any other foam other than 5mm in thickness, I'm not too sure how it will play out in regards to the slats. Some things you may have to cut or accommodate simply due to the additional doubling the thickness in the foam. Afterwards, after cutting them all out, I heat sealed everything with a heat gun. You can use whatever you have to heat seal it. The hair dryer won't work, won't get hot enough. And then rolled up the slats to make them malleable enough, and the same with the triangles. And then here you can see sped up me connecting the triangles, and this is the part that will be the top center cap. Like you can currently see me on screen, it'll just be sitting on our head. It seems a little small, but it's not going to be a problem because the slats are going to be covering that up. And here you can see I'm just gluing slat number 6, and that's going to be the top, and I'm just marking roughly where the helmet's that dome cap is sitting at the top. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of a gap, but no one's going to see that simply due to the height of the slat or how the cap is sit in. Once you got it placed, you're going to hot glue it at the 4 corners where it's connecting, and then we're going to move on to slat number 5. Get it situated, glue it together, fit number 6, have it overlap about halfway roughly like you currently see on screen, and we're gonna afterwards tack some hot glue around the inside, and then we're just going to continue this process moving down from 6 all the way to 1. For number 3, after having done number 4, you want to try and keep the section that's open or has that cutaway like you currently see in the middle or spaced between one of those triangle sections, because then the seams are on the sides and not directly on. And here's what it's going to be looking like after doing 6 to 1. I used a piece of elastic band to connect or at least hold the helmet to my head, so I cut it depending on the length I needed, placed it where I felt would be appropriate roughly by my temples, and then hot glue that in place. Then I moved on to these pieces. These are the rectangular pieces. You need to cut out 2 of them. I used 5mm craft foam, and these are the pieces that are going to be flaring out by the cheeks like you currently see on the openings, roughly where they'll be. And then we need to cut out 3 circles. 2 of them will be going on each of these slats that curl outwards, and then 1 on the very top to cover some of the seams. Now, I said I had done all the foam pieces, but I was actually wrong. I forgot to do the hand plates, so I provided the templates. I showed a bit of a reference image of what I was trying to achieve. I cut out the vast majority of these onto 5mm craft foam, and then the piece you currently see on screen, I cut out 4 of these for each hand plate, and I just used 2mm craft foam. And then once you have that all cut out, you're going to be hot gluing the piece that you currently see on screen to the hand plate. Obviously, you're going to have a bit of an overhang, so to make it flush with the rest of the piece, you're just going to use your scissors or X-Acto blade to cut it off. And then you can currently see this is the finished plate for the left hand, and then the knuckle guard area just rests on top, and I'll be gluing this to the fabric once I do that. Afterwards, I take a Dremel using a sanding bed to round the edges of the slats like you currently see. I also try and clean up the top seams a little bit of the dome cap. And then afterwards, once you have that all done, I forgot to mention you have to sand off the texture part of the rectangle. I used a heat gun to then heat up these rectangular pieces, and then rolled them up and kept them till they were cooled. That way they're able to hold their shape. Afterwards, I used Quick Seal to cover and fill in all my seams everywhere on the foam. Here you can see I have an additional white piece of foam that's about 2 millimeters in thickness, and it's just a long strip, and it's going to be being the trim or the border of that rectangular piece like you currently see. We're going to be gluing our circles that we cut out onto the rectangles like you see there, gluing those pieces that flare outwards about by the cheeks on both sides. And then what we currently see is now I have sealed my foam with Modge Podge and black paint, and I was initially thinking I was going to be using puff paint to imitate the threading, since my normal twine I would have used would be too thick, but the store ran out, so I did this after the fact of burning the holes all the way through with a soldering iron. And then I left the slat that had number 3, the opening above the eye or above where your face is. There's to be no threading or no holes done through it, and you're just going to be spacing that all the way around and doing it within even amongst all the slats. And then I gave the entire helmet a base coat of black flat paint, and then mixed some dark browns for the hands, and then mixed some orange and brown together to add some contrast. Here we're going to be doing the threading. I estimated what I needed for the thread from one hole to the other, cut out a piece, and then the stitching is going to be overlapping, and then I just cut out more thread so that way it would fit within the holes. Keep your stitching the same, so if you have it going over on one hole, if you have it going over on one side, make sure the rest of the threading is done like that. And afterwards I took out the piece and hot glue it. Here you can see what it looks like after having all of it done. When you are soldering your holes or using whatever you're using to punch your holes for the foam to do the threading, make sure you are trying to keep them very close together, not spaced out. Then I'm doing some weathering. I'm mixing some black and gold and trying to get a darker color, and I'm just trying to get that within the crevices of the slats and just kind of doing it all over the place for the foam. And then afterwards I mixed some silver and black and grays to kind of highlight and dry brush the edges, trying to do it really subtle. If you mess this up or do a bit too much, you can either wipe it off or just use some black paint and just paint it over and redo it once it's done. And then we're going to be painting the circles gold. Those are the only pieces that are different. I don't have that part recorded. And here we are once everything is painted, fully assembled, all the twine is done. And thank you guys for checking out my video. Once again, links to the templates are in the description, a PDF from a Google Doc that I have uploaded and done. Links or material list will be there as well. If you guys have any questions about this build, leave a comment. I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can because of YouTube and its trusty notification system. Anyways, stay tuned for the fabrics. It may take me a little bit longer since I don't have the best skill with a sewing machine, and bear with me on that. Anyways, it's been Kyle from Regrettable Props, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.